tatta dhim ta takita dhim ta dhim ta tam.
Hello everyone. Firstly, I wish you all an auspicious and loving 2022. My name is Padma, and on this channel I share with you practices and philosophy from ancient goddess tradition from my culture, which is India. And today I am really happy to share with you a practice that I hope will inspire you and will support you through this year. And this is the practice of returning to the wild. So for many of us, these times have really brought us to the urgency of the impacts of a very mind-dominated way of life that we've been living as humanity for centuries. Many philosophers recently have started talking about it again. This is not a new conversation. It's been going on for a while, but the recent events have brought much more urgency to this question about this mechanistic view, as some of them have called it. And by that we mean a way of living life that is completely controlled by the mind, dominated by thought, by word. Some philosophers have called it the machine. And the mind does work like a machine. It's very linear, it's got cause and effect, it's problem solving. And while that's got a place, it's not the way that we can actually align ourselves to the whole of reality, because reality is what some people have called the wild. And people have said we need to return to the wild. And I know that I've been practicing with women during the holidays as well in my individual program, and many women have told me that they feel a sense of overwhelm. One woman very powerfully told me that she feels like she's got all these voices in her head, all these different people living in her, and she doesn't really know her own voice anymore. I'm just going to invite you to do a little thing as you listen to me, and that is to see, where do you live in your body? How far away are you from your body? Are you there? Are you very distant? Is your consciousness really in the far horizon? Are you somewhere here where your hand can reach? Where do you feel you live? Where is your awareness? Or is it here? Or is it here, very close to the body? Is it behind? Is it further behind? It's a really simple thing that you can do. And when I do this with the women I practice with, they're often amazed at how remotely we live from our bodies. Sometimes we are not even in the body, we are living in the far horizon. And the thing with all this talking, even when we talk about this issue, talking about being mechanistic, talking about being the machine, talking about the wild, it only takes us further and further away from the body. And the ancient traditions, not only in my own culture, India, but in this land I live in, which is Australia, there is an ancient tradition here, and in many parts of the world, they absolutely knew the importance of this wild consciousness. And the wild consciousness is not far away, it's actually the body, the consciousness of the body. Now, when we live from the mind, we think of the body as something that is inert, it's an organism that you have to conquer with the mind and label it, and then it just kind of does what the mind wants it to do. But nothing can be further away from reality. The body has a consciousness, it has an intelligence, it has a wisdom, and it has a way of perceiving reality that is very different and far more expansive than that of the mind. And the ancient traditions knew this. So the wild, how do we connect to the wild? Not by going off and buying a farm or visiting a tropical rainforest and then creating problems with tourism and environment there, but simply by returning to the wild, which is our own body. Our body consciousness, our body is unknowable to the mind, and that is the wild. And many ancient traditions had this embodied practice, not that is coming from the source of the mind, but these are usually revealed practices, which means they're not of the mind. And if you look at it, what is it in our reality that is not constructed by the mind? And it is nature. It's this mountain that I stand on, this earth which I understand is about 458 million years old. Can you imagine that? That is this earth. And these are not things that are constructed from the mind. And we have that in our bodies too. This body is not constructed by the mind, and it is of the same nature as the nature around us. So this practice that I'm going to share with you today, which is the returning to the intimacy of the wild. It is returning from that far horizon where our consciousness lives, bringing it into intimacy with the body. And it comes from both the Natya Shastra, which is the ancient thousands of years old text on dance, and of course dance is older than that, and also the Atharva Veda. So the Vedas are the most ancient sources of Indian philosophy. In fact, the dance text is one of the Vedas. And of them, the Atharva Veda is the most mysterious of the Vedas. It has text in it which is really coming or signaling an embodied practice. So it doesn't make sense to read it as a flat text. And dance is very connected to the Atharva Veda. And this particular practice is the practice of the creeper. The creepers that I don't have a creeper close by, but the creepers that you find clinging to the trees. And this is the practice about the creeper. And in the Atharva Veda, there's this beautiful love poem where the lover is saying, be with me as a creeper is around the tree. Be with me as a creeper. Cling to me. Encompass me. Embrace me. Entwine me. Depend on me. Don't leave me. And this is the relationship of consciousness and body, the tree and the creeper. It's not, and this is the relationship between us and nature. We are the tree and the creeper. And we are entwined. We depend. We are in this beautiful relationship with nature where, there is this lovingness between the two, this beautiful loving relationship. And the practice from the Natya Shastra is of Lata, which is the word for the creeper, and Vali. There is an ancient Dravidian goddess called Vali, which is also signaling this practice. Vali is also the creeper, and Vali is the huntress, the goddess of the forest, the goddess of the wild. So you can see where all this is taking us in our sensations. So please join me in this practice. It's really very intimate, very private, and a very delicate practice. So we drop into the lower body, just pushing the hips back slightly, opening your femoral joints, and just simply dropping the weight through the feet into the earth. The chin is down, the chest is open. And just bring yourself by lowering, so take the eyes from wherever you are and bring it close. Not closing the eyes, because you really want the presence and awareness here, but it's dropping the eyes so that it's kind of looking down, but also behind you. It's like that space below and behind you. You don't drop the head, it's just the eyes. And then we shift our weight onto the hip. We bend the head so that the ear, you feel like the ear is listening to the hip. The eyes are in that corner, looking down and behind. And gently just feeling this movement. And now your legs are going to become the creeper. So we go back to here, and this leg, take it along the ground, bringing it up, very close to your body, and like the leaf in the wind. And then here's the creeper wrapping around your own leg, and curling around. Then you shift your weight. Drop the ear to the hip, and now the leg at the back. Again, just along the ground, lifting up and wrapping yourself around the legs, and when you do this, it's great if you can do it in a skirt. I'm doing it with these trousers so that you can see the shape of the legs, but what you really want to do is to feel skin against skin. You are the creeper, you are the tree. There is no duality. This is the beauty of the body, which the mind can never do. The mind is always in duality, black and white, good and bad, but the body has this incredible capacity to hold sensation that is beyond the duality. So you are the creeper and the tree, the lover and the beloved, just like the consciousness, the wild, it's all within us. It's all intertwined within us. So if you can feel that intimacy of skin against skin, it's really private and intimate. So it's not about making those movements go into space at all. Yeah? It's almost like there is no space. There is no space. It's just here in your body. So the arms now are very simple. So the arms are also called the Lata arms, and they just move. You don't have to coordinate. Again, it's just that feeling of that creeper, that gentleness, no muscularity, no effort. So please join me one more time. And starting very close to the body. I hope that this practice will begin this year for you with that returning to that intimacy, bringing our awareness, consciousness back from its remote wanderings towards the intimacy of the wild, which is here right within us. And if this kind of work, if this kind of approach and practice is resonating with you, I am offering a 2-day intensive invoking the nature goddesses, where we will be doing more of these very ancient, very simple practices. So this is it. It's so simple. There is a simplicity, but there is that attention, the intensity of attention and passion, but it's very simple. So I'll be doing more of these practices during that intensive. It's 2 days, 22nd, 23rd of January. It's completely live online, and the early bird for this ends on the 10th of January. So if you feel it in your heart to join me, I would be very honored to have your company, and you will find the details in the description below. Thank you so very much again. I look forward to your company and your support and your interactions, your comments, your reflections in 2022. Thank you so much for supporting this work. Thank you so much for manifesting this work in the world. We really do need it, because the only way we are going to bring about a different way of connecting to the reality, of living as part of this reality, is through our embodied consciousness, and not through words and through talking and more of the same machine-like qualities of the mind. Thank you again.